everybody, welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel, home of your Newcastle United podcast. This is Chris with the match preview. We're going to get stuck into have a little look at Newcastle's game against Brentford today at live at St James's Park, which is going to be an incredible atmosphere. We're going to get stuck into that in a minute. Just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We're really close to 1,900 subs now for the length of the channel. We are younger than the takeover, as we keep saying, so thank you so much for everybody who's done that. But room for more, please click that button and come and join us. If you want to follow us on the socials, it's above there. You've got Twitter and Instagram as well, so follow Evermore, guys. We've got loads of content for you, all free of charge, and we're talking about the club, and we'd love you to come and join us. So let's get stuck into the game then. So just before we do, normally it's worth saying that we have a bit of a moan about the fixtures, don't we? The fixture gods are never kind to Newcastle. We always get fixtures moved, and it's inconveniencing for travelling and being at work and off work and all this kind of stuff as well. Getting dragged to Southampton on a Friday night or Bournemouth on a Sunday afternoon or something like that. But for once, I think the fixture gods have actually been a little bit kind to us. We have a home game the day after the anniversary of quite possibly, well, it probably will be the most important day in Newcastle United history. The Newcastle United takeover, 1 year on, as I'm recording this today on the 7th of October, is the anniversary today, where everything changed, where we got rid of Mike Ashley, where the club was purchased by Amanda Staveley, PCP partners, and obviously the PIF as well. And Newcastle United could once again dream, once again hope, just to do something other than survive in the Premier League, and just coin the money in for the owner to invest in his own business. So a year on, so much has changed. Excuse me, so much has changed. I'm not crying there, I'm just coughing. So much has changed a year on. We've got a young, bright, articulate manager in Eddie Howe, somebody who's revered in the Premier League and around the world, just how well he's done, how well he's coaching the players. He's improved players that were already here that we all wrote off. He's brought in unbelievable players. Kieran Trippier plays for Newcastle now. I still have to pinch myself to say that because he's such a good player. Bruno Gomes, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak. We've got some of the best young talent around in European football as well. And Callum Wilson, banging in goals in the number 9 shirt. So a year on, things are looking a hell of a lot brighter than they did back in those dark days. And thank God we don't have Steve Bruce arguing with our fans anymore. So thoughts go out to the West Brom fans. Hopefully they'll be relieved of the Baron of Bacon pretty soon. But listen, that's the past. Let's look at the future. So we've got Brentford coming up, and I just think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric in the city. Wor Flags are going to absolutely smash out the park. I'm pretty confident of that. We've had Thomas on the channel before. The guys do an unbelievable job with this being such a special day and meaning so much to everybody associated with Newcastle United. I can't wait to see what they come up with. I can't be at the game, unfortunately, but I'll be watching on like everybody else, and I'm sure the hairs will be standing on the back of my neck. Doesn't matter if you're in the Gallagher end, if you're in Toronto, then everywhere you are as a Newcastle fan, you'll feel this atmosphere. You'll feel it. It's going to be a tough game for Brentford, I think, coming up here off the back of this. The atmosphere, the sense of positivity. The players are coming off the back of a brilliant win against Fulham, where everything kicked into gear. Confidence will be high, and we've got some key players coming back as well in a minute, which we're going to have a look at. So how we're going to line up, this will be a nice, easy one. So we also have a look at the lineup, give you our idea of the lineup. Dead straightforward one, this. I think we're just going to line up as we did against Fulham, really. You can see, obviously, Nick Pope and goal. Back four, Trippier, Shaw and Botman. I think Byrne will keep his place at left back. The midfield will be Bruno, Longstaff and Willock. I think Joe Linton is back from an injury. He could easily slip in there, Joe Linton. But I think they might give him a little bit of a rest. Just, got Manchester United coming up after that. Maybe Eddie Howe will save the beast for that game. And up front, obviously, Callum Wilson back in the goals, looking sharp as ever. Miggy had a great game against Fulham. I think he'll keep his place as well. And I think Jacob Murphy might keep his place as well. I'm not a big fan of Jacob Murphy, as you all know. I don't think a lot of fans are really, but he grafted his balls off against Fulham, and he deserves a chance at a start in this game, I think. So I think we'll be unchanged. I think we'll just stick with the same team. But you could easily see some changes in there. You can maybe see Joe Linton coming in. Potentially Elliot Anderson might get a game. You never know. But I think Eddie Howe will pick the right team. We trust Eddie Howe. He's such a good manager. He knows how to get the best out of these players. He's been brilliant in his press conference this week, talking about the players, talking about the takeover, talking about the future of the club. He just fills you full of so much confidence. And like I say, if you look at it against the guy who was there before, who's in the news for all the wrong reasons yet again, it's just something else to be so thankful for, that this takeover actually happened. Who knows what we would be? We'll probably be a championship club for sure if the takeover hadn't happened. But yeah, so just looking at the kind of head-to-heads, I suppose. Not many games to go off because Brentford haven't been in the league that long. So out of the 2 Premier League games head-to-head, We've won one, they've won none. So the other one was a draw, the 3 each. Eddie Howe's COVID debut. 5 goals for us, 3 goals for them, 1 clean sheet for us, none for them. And you can see just the form guide kind of going into it there. Obviously, going back to the last game that we had, obviously 4-1, and the last game they had was a 0-0. So the last 5 games, you can see there, between us, I think it was 2-0 win for us at home, and then I think obviously that 3-3 draws I mentioned at St James's Park. But yeah, how is the game going to go then? Yeah, I mean, Brentford are a good side. There's no doubt about that they've got some really talented players in there. Obviously, all eyes will be on the ex-Newcastle United striker. If you can even call him that, he barely got a sniff at us. You know, he was a very different man back then. Ivan Toney, he went off and he earned his stripes, and he's come back as a hell of a centre-forward. You know, he's in the England squad, and rightly so. He's a great goal scorer. And he just looks like he's going to be a really big player. I mean, I think he probably will end up leaving Brentford at one point, possibly to go to a bigger club. You know, he has been linked to us. I don't know if that'll happen, to be honest with you. But I think Ivan Toney will have a point to prove. He's a very, very good player. As I mentioned, in terms of us, I think Saint-Maximin is going to be back in the squad. And Joe Linton obviously will be on the bench again, probably a bit fitter than he was last week. So that's massive players to come off the bench if they don't start, as well as Elliot Anderson as well. We've got some real impact players now on the bench that we didn't have against the likes of Bournemouth. So, but I think we'll control this game. I really do. As good as Brentford are, I think the biggest thing that they're going to struggle with, I think, is Pontus Jansson's out injured for them. Their centre half, their captain, and he's a really good player. Is Pontus Jansson, good leader as well, and I think that'll disturb them at the back. And they're coming up against an in-form striker in Callum Wilson, who, when he's fit, gets space in front of that crowd with that atmosphere. I think Callum Wilson's going to be gasping to get a goal. He is going to aim for the silver boot, as he said in his podcast, because there's no point in going for the goal boot because Haaland's got that wrapped up. But yeah, I think Wilson will come into this game chest out, ready for goals, ready to score in front of St James's crowd. You know, and I really think it'll be a tough time for the Brentford defence. I think they've got is it Christophe Age, who played at Celtic, will be coming in. Decent player, but I don't think he's as good as Pontus Jansson, so I think he'll be in for a real tough game against Callum Wilson. They've also got a few other injuries as well. Norgard's out injured as well. Lewis Porter's out injured. Charlie Good. I think, but, you know, the big players for them in terms of the two that we have to really keep an eye on is Ivan Toney and obviously Mbembo as well, who are very tricky, find space. You know, Toney can hold the ball well, he can drop deep, he can pull centre halves out. So the guys are going to have to be at their best, you know. But I think the way we defended against Fulham, obviously Mitrovic, our other ex-striker, went off half an hour in. I don't think Toney will do that. He'd possibly be a bit more impactful, a bit more dangerous than Mitro was. I think he was playing with an injury, but the defence has to be at it really to keep an eye on Toney. If you snuff Toney out, I think you snuff out a lot of their play. A lot of stuff goes through him. So obviously we need Shaw and Botman to be on their game. Obviously Big Dan Burn, if he's there as well, dealing with maybe Mbembo's movement. Obviously Trippier can have him as well in terms of his positional sense. Trippier's not got a lot of pace. He's got enough pace, but I think his positional sense is so good that he'll be able to keep an eye on that guy if he pulls out wide. Midfield-wise, I think we've got way more than they have in midfield. I think with Bruno back pulling the strings, you know, the pass he hit for Miggy the other week, some of the through balls he was slipping through for Murphy. Bruno he'll draw off this crowd, you know, that atmosphere, that electricity, you know, that really just fires Bruno up. You know, he loves that. He thrives on that. So I'm expecting a big game off Bruno. And yeah, as I said, you know, I just think with Wilson there as well, back on form. Obviously, Isak's out injured. Good news on that trip. Eddie Howard said that, you know, he's looking good, but they're just holding him back a bit because of the medical staff. Again, rewind back 12 months, we would have had Isak on the pitch and probably ripping his thigh apart after 10 minutes if it was up to Steve Bruce, because he just could not manage players' fitness at all. So even that's a step forward as well, which is brilliant. John Joe Shelby's on the way back. He's ahead of schedule as well. And we've all realised how much we miss John Joe now. He's not in the team with his ability to just get the ball, make that pass, soak up the play, take a bit of pressure off. You know, getting John Joe back will be huge in this midfield. But Joe Willock's been superb. Eddie Howe is bigging him up as well. And I think Joe Willock will be relishing a chance to play in front of a Paxton James is all buzzing still from takeover anniversary. And hopefully Joe Willock will want to get back in the goals again. So, yeah, it will be a difficult game. There's no doubt about that. I think Brentford are no mugs. We go into this game 7th in the league, which is absolutely superb. You know, and I think we're very happy with the points total we've amassed so far, but we've just come off the back of a second win of the season. We've got a taste of it. We want more of it. I think if we can get a win against Brentford at home, it really spurs us on for confidence to go in that Manchester United game. And they can be had at Manchester United. They're not unbeatable. You know, yes, a little bit better than they were at the start of the season, but if we bounce into that game on the back of 2 wins, we could be a real trouble for Manchester United Old Trafford. But I think going back to this game, for me, I really fancy us to win this game. I don't think it'll be a pushover by any stretch, so I'm going to go 2-1 to Newcastle United. I think we'll have Callum Wilson winner, Ivan Toney probably getting the score sheet as well. But I do fancy a win, a tight one, 2-1 to Newcastle United. But I just can't wait to see the atmosphere. The day after takeover, the whole city will be absolutely buzzing, and I think all Newcastle fans will feel it around the world, no matter where you are. And let's look forward to the game on Saturday. Let's get 3 points. Away the lads. Let's keep supporting that team of Core United. This is Chris signing off. Let's look forward to the game, and we'll catch you later. Cheers now.